I thought my divorce from Lisa was finally behind me. After 18 months of legal battles and bitter arguments, we'd settled into an uneasy truce. I'd moved into a modest rental house across town, trying to rebuild my life at 38 years old. What I hadn't expected was the harassment. It started small. I would come out in the morning to find my car had a flat tire. The first time, I assumed it was bad luck. The second time, a week later, I was suspicious. By the third time, I was furious. The tire shop mechanic, Pete, showed me the evidence. See this? That's a nail, deliberately pushed in. Someone's doing this on purpose, man. You got enemies. I knew exactly who it was. Lisa had remarried quickly after our divorce to Derek Martinez, a construction worker who'd made it clear he didn't like my continued presence in their lives. Even though Lisa and I had no kids together, Derek seemed to view me as a threat to his new marriage. Maybe you should talk to your ex, Pete suggested. This is getting expensive. That evening, I swallowed my pride and called Lisa. Her voice was cold when she answered. Lisa, we need to talk about Derek. He's been vandalizing my car. That's ridiculous, Mark. Derek wouldn't do that. I have proof. The mechanic says someone's deliberately putting nails in my tires. Lisa's laugh was bitter. Maybe you should park somewhere else then. Derek's just protecting what's his. The call ended with me more frustrated than ever. I'd hoped Lisa would be reasonable, but she was clearly standing by her new husband no matter what. That night, I installed a security camera pointing at my driveway. If Derek wanted to play games, I would get the evidence I needed. The security camera worked perfectly. 2 nights after installing it, I caught Derek on video, sneaking onto my property at 2 a.m. with a hammer and nails. The footage was crystal clear. Derek, methodically puncturing 2 tires, before creeping back to his truck parked down the street. I had my proof, but when I called Lisa the next morning, her response shocked me. I saw your little video, she said, her voice dripping with disdain. Derek showed me. He said you sent it to him. He's destroying my property, Lisa. This is harassment. Oh, please, Mark. They're just tires. You always were dramatic. Just tires? Do you know how much I've spent replacing them? Over $800. Lisa's laugh was cruel. Maybe if you weren't such a pathetic loser, you could afford it. Derek's just having a little fun. Fun? This is criminal damage. Men will be men, Mark. My new husband is a real man, unlike you. He's not afraid to stand up for what's his. The conversation ended with Lisa hanging up on me. I stared at my phone in disbelief. The woman I'd been married to for 6 years was not only condoning this behavior, but encouraging it. I considered calling the police, but something held me back. The footage was clear, but would they really do anything meaningful? A slap on the wrist? A fine Derek could easily pay? That night, I barely slept. I kept thinking about Lisa's words. Men will be men. If Derek wanted to play the alpha male game, maybe it was time I showed him what a real man looked like when pushed too far. The next morning, I woke up to find my car sitting on 4 flat tires. But this time, Derek had gone further. My small front garden was destroyed, plants ripped up, garden gnomes smashed, my mailbox bent in half. A note was taped to my front door. Next time, mind your own business. A real man. My hands shook as I read it. The gloves were off now. The destruction of my garden was the last straw. I had spent months carefully tending those plants, finding peace in the simple act of nurturing something beautiful. Now it was all gone, destroyed by a man who thought intimidation made him strong. I called in sick to work and spent the day cleaning up the mess. As I threw away the broken remains of my grandmother's garden gnomes, something cold settled in my chest. Derek wanted to escalate things? Fine. I could escalate too, but I wouldn't be reckless. If Derek thought he was smarter, I would prove him wrong. That evening, I drove to the hardware store. I bought motion sensor lights, a stronger security system, and a few other items I hoped I wouldn't need to use. I also stopped by the police station to file a report, making sure there was an official record of Derek's harassment. Officer Martinez, no relation to Derek, she assured me, was sympathetic but realistic. We can patrol the area more frequently, but unless we catch him in the act, it's your word against his. Keep documenting everything. For a week, my property was quiet. I began to hope that maybe Derek had gotten bored or that Lisa had finally talked sense into him. But my security cameras told a different story. Derek was driving by my house multiple times a day, sometimes sitting in his truck for minutes at a time, clearly planning something bigger. The attack came on a Tuesday morning. I woke up to find all four tires not just flat, but completely shredded. My car windows were smashed. My front door was spray painted with obscenities. And in my destroyed garden, Derek had left a new message spelled out in broken glass. Loser. But the worst part was the timing. I had a crucial job. Interview that morning, a position that could finally get my career back on track after the divorce. Instead, I was calling the police, dealing with insurance, and watching my chances at a fresh start slip away. When I called Lisa, her response was exactly what I expected. Derek says you've been harassing him. Maybe if you stopped being such a stalker, he'd leave you alone. Stalker? He's the one destroying my property. You're pathetic, Mark. This is why I left you. You can't handle a real man showing you who's boss. That night, I sat in my vandalized house, staring at the security footage of Derek's gleeful destruction. Something shifted inside me. I tried being reasonable. I tried going through proper channels. I tried appealing to Lisa's better nature. None of it worked. Derek wanted to play games? I would give him a game he'd never forget. I spent 3 days planning. I researched, I prepared, and I made sure every detail was perfect. Derek thought he was clever, but I had always been the smarter one. It's why Lisa had resented me during our marriage. The plan was simple but effective. I would give Derek exactly what he wanted, easy access to cause more damage. But this time, Derek would pay the price. I started by making my property look even more vulnerable. I removed the new security lights, making it appear as though I'd given up on protection. I parked my car in the same spot where Derek had attacked it before. To any observer, it looked like I had simply accepted defeat. But appearances were deceiving. I had spent my divorce settlement money wisely. The security system was now professional grade, with hidden cameras covering every angle. More importantly, I'd made some modifications to my property that Derek would discover the hard way. The bait was irresistible. My car parked in the perfect spot, my property seemingly defenseless, and a new garden display that practically screamed, "Destroy me." I didn't have to wait long. On Friday night, my motion sensors alerted me to movement outside. Through my bedroom window, I watched Derek creep onto my property, carrying a baseball bat and a bag of what looked like more nails. Derek headed straight for the car, just as I had predicted. He raised the bat to smash another window. But as he stepped forward, my trap activated. Derek's scream pierced the night air. The spike strip I had carefully concealed in the grass had done its job. Derek was on the ground, clutching his foot, the baseball bat forgotten. But I wasn't done. As Derek tried to stand, the motion-activated sprinkler system kicked in, but instead of water, it was a mixture I had prepared. Not harmful, but incredibly foul-smelling and difficult to wash off. Derek was now screaming in rage and disgust, stumbling around my yard when the final surprise activated. The floodlights I had hidden illuminated the entire area like daylight, and the loud alarm began blaring. Neighbors started appearing at their windows. Someone called the police, and my cameras captured every beautiful second of Derek's humiliation. The police arrived to find Derek sitting on my lawn, soaked in foul-smelling liquid, nursing a punctured foot, and surrounded by evidence of his intended vandalism. The baseball bat, the bag of nails, and the spray paint he'd brought were scattered around him. Officer Martinez couldn't hide her smile as she took Derek into custody. "Looks like you caught yourself a vandal, Mr. Thompson." I handed over my security footage, which clearly showed Derek's approach with weapons and his intent to destroy property. The spike strip was perfectly legal. It was on my property, and I had clear warning signs posted, though they were admittedly hard to see in the dark. "This is entrapment." Derek screamed as he was led to the police car, still reeking of my special mixture. Entrapment is when law enforcement induces someone to commit a crime they wouldn't normally commit. Officer Martinez explained calmly, "This is just you being stupid on someone else's property." The best part came 20 minutes later when Lisa arrived. I watched from my window as Lisa rushed to Derek's truck, expecting to find her husband. Instead, she found a police officer waiting to speak with her about her husband's arrest. "Ma'am, your husband has been charged with criminal mischief, trespassing, and attempted vandalism. He's also being held on assault charges related to his previous destruction of property." Lisa's face went white. There must be some mistake. Derek was just. He was defending our marriage. "From what, ma'am?" "Mr. Thompson has extensive video evidence of your husband's repeated attacks on his property." When Lisa saw the footage, her reaction was everything I had hoped for. Her real man looked like a complete fool, screaming and stumbling around covered in stinking liquid. The man she'd praised for his strength was crying like a child with a hurt foot. "This is humiliating," she whispered. "Your husband brought this on himself," the officer replied. Mr. Thompson showed remarkable restraint in handling this situation legally. Lisa turned to look at my house, and I made sure she could see me watching from my window. For the first time since our divorce, I saw something in her eyes I'd never seen before: respect. Derek spent the night in jail and was released on bail the next morning. The court case was swift, with my extensive evidence. Derek pleaded guilty to avoid worse charges. He was sentenced to community service, ordered to pay full restitution for all damage, and issued a restraining order, preventing him from coming within 500 feet of my property. But the real victory was social. The video of Derek's humiliation had somehow found its way onto social media. I would never admit to posting it. Lisa's friends and family saw her real man for what he truly was: a coward who picked on his wife's ex-husband and ran away crying when he faced consequences. 6 months later, I heard through mutual friends that Lisa and Derek's marriage was falling apart. Apparently, Derek couldn't handle being seen as weak, and Lisa couldn't handle being married to a man who'd embarrassed her so publicly. As for me, I moved to a better neighborhood, got that job I'd missed the interview for. They rescheduled after hearing my story, and finally found peace. Sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even. It's letting someone destroy themselves while you watch from a safe distance. Derek had wanted to show me what a real man looked like. In the end, I showed him something better: what a smart man could do when pushed too far.